Hello, friends. I hope you're all doing well. My story is long and complicated, so I apologize for any mistakes. I'm writing from my mobile phone. The situation has reached a breaking point, and I don't know how to deal with this chaos. A bit of context. I'm 43, my wife is 40, and we've been married for 16 years. We have two kids. Our daughter is 14 and our son is 10 years and our son is 9. The beginning of our journey together was tough, but we managed to overcome those obstacles and became stronger. We got married when we were young, before we really matured, but we were sure of our feelings and ready to face any challenges. Now, I'm not so sure that those weren't just my naive ideas. In the last 2 years, she has started to pull away from me. Nothing I did seemed to please her. She often compared me to her boss and started to understand why. She often mentioned how he would handle certain issues, while I couldn't read her mind, didn't ask her out on dates, and didn't make her feel special. Unlike her boss, it seems, I was trying to figure out what to do. I bought books, looked for advice because I felt stuck. And one evening, when she was texting someone, laughing and giggling in bed, my curiosity reached its limit. When I tried to look at the screen, she suddenly asked what I was doing and went to the bathroom. The next day, I decided to ask her directly, but she got angry and shut me down. I didn't have access to her phone, but I desperately wanted to know the truth. Late at night, she finally gave me her phone, but I found that most of the messages had been deleted. I asked a friend to help me recover the deleted messages and found out that she had another phone. Soon, I got proof of her affair with her boss. I decided to wait, not showing all my cards, because she could find a way to talk her way out of it. The situation was terrible. I felt shattered, thinking about how all of this would affect the kids. 3 days after discovering the affair, I bought a book called How to Help Your Spouse Deal with Infidelity. I hoped that if I gave it to her wife, she'd stop this nonsense. I planned to discuss everything on Saturday, but she said she had urgent matters at work. Of course, I called her work to confirm what she said, but the office was closed. She came home at 2 in the morning and went straight to the shower, avoiding any answers. I still didn't give her that book. She saw my pain and she didn't care. I got in touch with the wife of her boss to see if she knew anything about it. When she found out the truth, she was just as shocked as I was. We decided to gather evidence from both sides. I started keeping an even closer eye on my wife, and she did the same with her husband. In the end, we both prepared the divorce papers. Our spouses had no idea that we knew everything. We kept playing our roles until everything was ready. Thanks to the collaboration with the boss's wife, we both knew where and how to catch them. They booked a hotel for their fun weekend, and I personally went there with a bailiff. While waiting in the lobby, I asked the bailiff to call my wife. When she came down in her robe, she was confused to see me there. The bailiff confirmed her identity and handed her the documents. Seeing her shocked face, I felt a sense of satisfaction, but I decided not to escalate the situation and walked away. Even though she tried to stop me and demanded an explanation, I just told her, "You cheated and I'm leaving." She started screaming and pulling me hard by the arm. The bailiff had to step in. She tried to explain that I misunderstood everything, that it was all my fault, but I was already too angry. So I quickly left for home. My wife told her boss everything, and he, as I was told, panicked and rushed home, where he was already met with the documents. We didn't give them a chance to wiggle out of it. We caught them off guard, just like they did to us. My divorce will be finalized in a couple of months. It might take her longer. Both my wife and her boss, they don't want to get divorced. None of them want that. They justify themselves by saying they never intended to leave, that it was just a fling and nothing more. People go through even more serious betrayals and still manage to keep their marriage together. Yeah, they messed up, but they want to fix things. I asked my wife what she thought this could lead to. She replied that she was just going with the flow, feeling like a different person, and that she wasn't the person I fell in love with anymore. I told her she was an idiot. People around me call me cruel and heartless for not giving her a second chance. My kids absolutely know what's going on in the world that they can completely know about, and they truly and wholeheartedly support me in this decision, but I really truly wish that we could all stay together as a family. My desire to get a divorce is weakening. Plus, we're still living in the same house. My wife is going to therapy and reading that book I bought. It's getting harder to stay firm in my decision. She says she's sorry and willing to do anything. All I can say is just, it's a shame we caught you. She called me a bitter and sensitive person who can't forget all the bad things. Later, she apologized for that, but I know she still thinks that way. I'm still in touch with my boss's wife, and it drives my wife crazy. She thinks I'm going to get back at her. Starting an affair, or the fact that my boss's wife is the reason I don't want to give us another chance. She has repeatedly asked me to stop communicating with her, just like she did with the boss. I said she was out of her mind. We didn't do anything wrong, so why should I respect her opinion now? I have no respect for her anymore. She still doesn't want to give up and is actively trying to discuss her thoughts and reasons for her affair with me. But I see this as just an excuse, so I don't react. She wants us to go to therapy together. I've read a lot of stories where the victim gets blamed in therapy, so that's what I replied. No way. She wants me to read books about infidelity with her. What's the point if we're just going to get divorced anyway? She wants intimacy. I told her that she wouldn't manipulate me with that. She claims it's not manipulation, but just a desire to show how much she loves me. I corrected her. So now you love her, huh? People around me are judging me. And even my mom. She says that everyone makes mistakes. And my wife realized through her mistakes that she really loves me. I tell everyone that I'm not going to be anyone's backup option. I feel bad about how I'm treating her. I still really love her. But at the same time, I hate her. I'm too harsh with her. She's trying really hard, but I don't care. Should I reconsider my decision to get a divorce? People say that I'm rushing and that I'll regret it. That's true. I no longer understand what's real and what's not. Now try to answer all these questions in the comments below. What would you personally advise the author of this intriguing story? And now, let's continue on this journey. Thank you for your attention, guys. I want to clarify a few points. First of all, there's a kind of fertile ground between my wife and me right now. It's not because we're planning to reconcile. No, I'm still getting a divorce from her. In the last update, I detailed our story with the moderator. Short version, my wife still begs for a second chance and does everything she can to get it, but I'm not going to give it to her because her affair lasted too long for me to handle. If it had been just one night, that would be a different story, but it's not 2 years. It's an incredibly painful slap in the face. I went to a few therapy sessions with her because I'm not a monster and I still love her. One of the sessions was really good and helped me understand that my wife truly regrets what she did. She didn't handle the consequences of her affair perfectly, but she's really trying hard. The second session was a disaster. She got upset because I keep talking to my boss's wife and she's afraid of revenge through infidelity. That was the most bitter moment in this whole story. And later, we had a really quite big and significant fight because, you see, I absolutely refused to even consider stop talking to my boss's wife. This issue was resolved when I promised that there would be no cheating out of revenge. I understand that I'm not obligated to her, but until the divorce, she's still my wife, and I still want to stick to my commitments. I keep going to therapy sessions with her to see her progress. No, I'm not going to those sessions because deep down I want to save our marriage. I just want to see my wife's progress with my own eyes and be involved if needed. After the divorce, I'll walk away peacefully. My boss's wife is still getting a divorce from him, he's still resisting it, and she's just as determined as I am, and we support each other on tough days. But I still don't see any chance for a romance with her. We're just friends. That's it. She's a strong and independent woman who won't put up with that kind of treatment. The kids are doing fine. They understand that divorce doesn't mean we love them any less. They don't want the divorce, but they understand why it's necessary. My wife no longer works at the advertising company. She got a job somewhere else, where that boss isn't around. She quit shortly after I handed her the papers. According to her, she completely cut off communication with her former boss. She was looking for help on forums to save our marriage and took the advice she got. I've read a lot, and at first, I didn't understand why people stay with someone who cheated. But after seeing how hard my wife is working on herself, I can understand that temptation. She's not a monster. She's just a person with flaws who made terrible mistakes and now wants to be better. But after seeing how hard my wife is working on herself, I can understand that kind of temptation. She's not a monster, she's just a flawed human being who made terrible mistakes and now wants to be better. She offered me everything in the world to give her a second chance, and I'm not sure I have the strength to do it. The closer we get to the divorce, the more I feel a sense of peace. Recently, we had a long conversation where she asked me to give her a chance after the divorce. She suggested signing a prenuptial agreement. I wasn't completely against it, but she did a lot to make me at least consider it. Okay, hold on. The closer we get to the divorce, the more I feel a sense of peace. Recently, we had a long conversation where she asked me to give her a chance, even after the divorce. She proposed signing a prenuptial agreement, providing a few more details about the prenuptial agreement. I wasn't completely against it, but she did a lot to make me at least consider that option. However, I don't see how this will benefit both of us. To be completely and utterly honest and transparent, a significant and substantial part of me wants and desires this divorce, as it seems to be the only viable and feasible way to achieve and attain justice. It's truly and genuinely the only way to restore and bring back justice that I can take without stooping down to the level of a cheater and betrayer. My mom and I reconciled and made up after I told her more about the details of my wife's affair and infidelity, although now she's really angry at my wife after finding out all the details. and I don't know how to deal with it. Update number 2. I just didn't want to write here until my divorce was finalized, but today I'm furious, and I need to vent. As many of you know, my wife is really afraid of revenge because of the infidelity. The reason? Simple. I'm still in touch and meeting with the deceived boss's wife. She's younger. A model. She's very attractive and runs a successful business. This makes my wife paranoid. She's afraid that I'll give in to temptation and cheat on her out of revenge. I still can't believe she honestly has the nerve to really lecture me about 2 wrongs don't make a right. Seriously. Of course, she's right. I'm not going to do that. But her hypocrisy just drives me crazy. It really gets to me. Every time I'm about to meet with the boss's wife, like yesterday, my wife either gets incredibly sorrowful or extremely clingy, and I don't know how many times she's indeed tried to seduce me to make sure I'm not cheating on her. In response, I reject her attempts, and that just makes things worse. I was absolutely shocked at how selfish and inconsiderate cheaters are. They only think about themselves and their own pain, while the betrayed have to pick up the pieces of their lives step by step. And one more thing, our kids still see the boss's kids and their families. I would absolutely never leave for her without the kids, but my wife still thinks I could be just as completely heartless as she is and take any possible chance to sleep with that woman in any possible way. That's funny. The boss is still living in their country house, begging his wife to take him back. I'm not going to lie. I get a huge kick out of absolutely seeing him truly suffer the consequences of his actions. He indeed didn't really try to threaten me because he knows how much influence and control I have over him, without a doubt. He has to deal with the fact that I'm still in touch with his wife, and he's allowed to see the kids whenever he wants, but he doesn't want to see me. So, she does everything to keep me away. When is he coming? Honestly, I feel sorry for him. Right now, my wife is still trying really hard to make up for her mistakes. She's literally showering me with care and attention, but I just don't pay any attention to it. We have a therapy session today, and I feel like I truly want to unload all the deep pain and resentment I've had to go through because of her. The anger I'm feeling is becoming absolutely unbearable. Update 3. Well, here I am again. Nothing really new for you guys, but I'll cover a few things. I read a lot of stories about infidelity to better understand my situation. So during a recent therapy session with my wife, she asked for a little more time to try to win me back. She gave a lot of reasons why this would be a good idea. Well, at least try, at least see if I can participate in restoring our marriage. So far, it hasn't been about reconciliation. I've reminded her a few times that she's only trying because she got caught. She wouldn't even be trying to do anything if she had still been cheating on me for months. I'm not the kind of person who lets himself be walked all over, even if it's by a woman I love. She wouldn't even be trying to do anything if she had still been cheating on me for months. I'm not the kind of person who lets himself be walked all over even if it's by a woman I love. She admitted all her mistakes and apologized again. She made me countless promises that she would make up for her mistakes. She wants our marriage to be more resilient and stronger than ever, and she's truly absolutely certain that it's possible. I asked her if she was ready to deal with my anger because I have a lot of it. A lot, and an overwhelming amount of it. She said absolutely, and that she would like me to express everything I feel, whenever I want, to help me get through it. Usually when I asked her why she had an affair, she came up with a million excuses. This time she spoke honestly, that there are no excuses for what she did, and she will show through all her actions every day and for the rest of her life that she truly regrets it, and will never cause me that kind of pain again. She really opened up and explained that she felt very insecure and was jealous of her boss's wife. To which she replied that it couldn't be a romance on my part because we would be living separately during that time. I said that it was a huge risk for her. And she replied that we are still getting a divorce. So if this doesn't help, at least I'll be able to see what the outside world has to offer. Naturally, I rejected that idea because it was too uncharacteristic of her. For the past few weeks, my wife has been acting very strange, quite calm, and truly patient. She seemed like a completely different person compared to the insecure, anxious, and worried one I knew before. Of course, I am aware that I can't trust her completely. It's really hard. Even though she doesn't want the divorce, She has been behaving very well throughout the whole process. I've read so many times about how divorces turn into messy battles. That's not the case for me. Ultimately, I have decided that I am definitely going to proceed with the divorce. I am eagerly anticipating your thoughts and opinions on this latest update. This is update 4. My wife and I acted civilly and spent the holidays together as a family. This will be the last holiday we celebrate together, even though my wife is still hoping for a continuation. I wanted to do this for the kids. I love my kids. It will all be over soon. We split everything evenly, although she was quite generous on her part. I still don't know if this is some kind of clever tactic on her part and whether she'll become aggressive later, but for now she's behaving well and admits that it's because I've been a great husband and father, so she thinks I deserve more than just a fair exit. Considering what she's done. So she thinks I deserve more than just a fair exit, considering what she's done. It doesn't mean she'll lose a lot in the divorce, but thanks to her generosity, I'm getting a little bit more. So she definitely thinks I absolutely deserve more than a fair exit considering what she did. It doesn't mean she'll lose much in the divorce, but because of her generosity, I get a little more. I decided to stop going to therapy with her. It was giving her false hopes and signals. She admitted that she developed a burning desire to get close to me during the time I was away from her. And she understands that I feel humiliated and unwanted because of her infidelity. She often, very often, quite frequently tried to get me into a close and personal relationship. To be honest, she rarely took the initiative in that regard before. So it upset me a bit that she's doing this now. Over time, I started to appreciate the fact that she sees my pain and wants to address it. I reject her, but she keeps insisting, firmly claiming that it has nothing to do with reconciliation. She just wants me to feel desired. At this point, I have stopped communicating with my boss's wife because it has become too personal for me. To whoever said I was having a revenge affair, you might not be that far from the truth. I didn't actually know this myself until indeed my boss's wife really confessed that she truly desired to try to see where our relationship could potentially lead. She said she would wait until my divorce is finalized before we try anything serious. I was really perplexed and uncertain and didn't know exactly what to say at that moment. So we decided mutually to take a break from communicating until everything gets completely sorted out. The boss's wife is a very attractive woman, but I don't know if I can reciprocate her feelings. I don't know how to deal with this. Someone suggested that our communication with her influences a possible reconciliation with her husband. I assure you, I had nothing to do with her decision to leave her boss. She ended things with him and that's entirely her choice. Despite what one might think, we are actually not experiencing this particular situation as a unified group, contrary to any initial impressions. Recently, my boss met with me in person to apologize for everything that happened. He has always been an arrogant person, and this experience really humbled him. I didn't accept his apologies, call me petty, but I don't care about what he's going through. I have a question. Is it okay to be intimate with my wife if we're not planning to reconcile? I admit I'm lacking intimacy. My wife is really trying hard and doing everything she can to initiate it. New lingerie, intimate messages, touches, letters, and so on. And sometimes it's hard for me to resist. She even threw away, burned, and replaced everything that had to do with the boss at our place. And this was without me even asking. Because, to be honest, I didn't care where exactly they were doing it. It's not easy for me to turn off these feelings. It's a trap. I get caught up in some kind of game before anyone says, "Kick her out of the house." I'll respond that I've already tried to do that, but I want her to stay. Just because it makes things easier at home. Update 5. I finally got it. I thought I had spent all these years on a woman who turned out to be nobody, but she gave me wonderful children and great memories. I will never forget these things, and as a man, I will value them. But now I finally understand I can be better. Better than her and better than I was before. And I will be better. I got a ton of advice on how to deal with this situation, and I finally realized what I deserve. She humiliated me, made me feel like nothing, and betrayed me as soon as another man started giving her attention. She was literally putting her energy into someone else. Now she's willing to do anything to keep me. Now she's putting her energy into us. Now she wants me to be happy, even though she didn't care before. Now she wants to be adventurous. I missed it while reading her messages with the boss. I only know the tip of the iceberg. Now she wants to show me how much she loves me, even though I admit she was pretty lazy about it before. Now she enjoys everything I do, supporting me, even though before it was all about her. Now she respects my boundaries. Now she enjoys and appreciates everything I do, supporting me, even though before it was all about her. All the things that I do. Now she respects my boundaries.